Hari Om, Tat Sat. Welcome to Jyotirmayananda Society, a journey to self-realization. Please subscribe our channel for the mystical meanings of the scriptures and to enjoy daily satsang. We are currently studying the book Yoga of Perfection, Summary of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, authored by Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. Today we will be studying some selected shlokas from chapter number 14, which is also known as Gunatraya Vibhag Yog, or the division of the three gunas. A very nice, very interesting chapter indeed. So, shloka number 17, Lord Krishna says, Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha aivacha pramadamohau tamaso bhava ato ajnanamevacha. Meaning, from sattva arises jnana or knowledge, from rajas arises greed, and from tamas proceeds ignorance. So, as we know, prakriti or nature is composed of three gunas, and here Lord Krishna is explaining the characteristics of each guna so you can know which guna is predominating in you. For example, when you wake up and you feel connected, spiritual, peaceful, know that sattva is operating, it's giving um, jnana, knowledge. And when rajas or worldly desires arise, um, then understand that rajas is operating greed, passion, action, those kind of things are rajas, worldly activities, and tamas proceeds from ignorance, inertia, laziness, those kind of things. Moving on to shloka number 18. ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जगन्यगुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. One who is established in sattva goes to the higher worlds. In rajas, he goes to the middle regions, and in tamas, he goes to the lower worlds. So, very profound. Here, God is trying to explain based on this human embodiment. If we have done good actions, we get to go to heaven or other peaceful places where we enjoy the rewards of those things. And if we have done rajas or rajasic activities, of course we are reborn or we remain in the middle regions where there are lots of passion and worldly activities. And finally, tamas is the lower regions. We call it patal or the netherworlds. um, each of the gunas, after they finish, they neutralize again, and there's another birth, and thus the cycle continues. But the gunas continue to operate all this while. Shloka number 20. Gunanetanatitya trindehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukhair vimukto amritamashnute. The embodied soul, having gone beyond the three gunas, which are the source of the body, is liberated from the birth, death, and old age, and thus attains immortality. So, this is a profound shloka guiding us that within this human embodiment, we have the ability to connect and attain immortality, connect with our spiritual being. And when you do that, you have transcended the three gunas of sattva, rajas, and tamas. And when you attain liberation, you are freed from the cycles of birth, death, old age, disease, and all the problems due to ignorance that keep us embodied. So, shloka number 21 is Arjuna Vacha. So, now Arjun is asking a question. क्लैर्लिङ्गे स्त्रीन् गुणानेतानतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचारः कथं चैतान् स्त्रीन् गुणान् तिवर्तते. Arjun says, O Lord, what are the characteristics of him who has transcended the three gunas? How does he conduct himself? How does he rise above these three gunas? Remember, Arjuna had asked similar kind of question in chapter 2 also about the characteristics of an enlightened sage. Here he wants to dig deeper to say, how can you transcend the gunas? So, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Shloka number 22, chapter 14. Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava na dveshti sampravrittani na nivrittani kankshati. When light, activity and delusion are prevalent, he does not hate them. When they are absent, he does not long for them. So he is showing Lord Krishna. Question is, how do you know, how do you transcend the three gunas, and what kind of a person has these abilities? And this is where God is saying he has risen above the impact of the three gunas. Light, for example, is sattva, activity is rajas, and delusion is tamas. So here, a person who is not affected by any of these, they come, they do their part, and they leave. So he does not long for them, and he does not miss them, he does not hate them, he simply accepts them as they are. That's shloka number 21, 22. Shloka number 23, chapter 14. उदासीनवदासीनो गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते गुणावर्तन्त इत्येव यो अवतिष्ठति नेङ्गते. Seated like one indifferent, he is not disturbed by the gunas. He knows that the gunas alone operate and not the self, and thus being established in the self, he moves on. Very self-explanatory shloka, but basically he becomes attached to the self, so he becomes stationary while he watches activity of sattva, rajas and tamas continue to operate through him, and he simply stays as a witness. These are high states of spirituality. Not everybody is there, but this is the goal to aspire for, because this was Arjuna's question. Shloka number 24, Lord continues, Sam dukha sukha swastha samaloštashma kanchanaha tulya priya priyo dhira stulya nindatma sanstutihi. Ever established in the self, he is alike to pleasure and pain. He regards a clot of earth, a stone, a piece of gold as equal in value. He is firm in wisdom and keeps his mind balanced in conditions that are agreeable and disagreeable, and he treats praise and censor alike. So, very difficult state to achieve, but certainly possible with constant effort. But basically, when you are attached to the self, you become a witness, then nothing bothers you. If it's pain, you accept it. If it's pleasure, you accept it also. You know that both will come and go, so you don't get attached to anything. You don't hate or love anything. You basically see the transience of the process. Therefore, this meaning, he regards a clod of earth, stone, piece of gold as equal in value. We have to understand the depth of this question. It doesn't mean that an enlightened person is stupid. He doesn't know the value of gold versus stone. It's that his internal condition becomes like that, that he is not hankering after money. Although he still deals with money, he looks at everything, he's looking at them with equal vision. But that doesn't mean that he'll keep the stones in the locker and his money on the street. He wouldn't do that, obviously. But he treats it in its proper perspective. Therefore, if he loses the money, he doesn't lose his peace of mind with it. That is what we have to understand by this. These shlokas are very profound, and if you simply read them, you can misinterpret the depth of the shloka and thereby be misled. Therefore, scripture should always be understood in a satsang format and under good guidance. So such a devotee, such a practitioner is firm in his wisdom, which means it's not shakable. For most people, they do one thing one day, another thing another day. But for somebody with this wisdom, this is not a temporary state. This is his permanent state of equanimity. So he keeps his mind balanced, and he treats praise and censor alike, and agreeable and disagreeable things also alike. Normally, people like what they want and dislike what they don't like. So, this is where the dichotomy comes in for most worldly people, and therefore they have this hate and love relationships and so on. But a wise aspirant understands and he rises above this. So that is the import of this deep shloka, and we will continue this satsang um, tomorrow with this journey, and we'll conclude chapter 14. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Hari Om Tat Sat.